Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story.
Not my issue. Can you buzz off?
Let me add a little bit of spice to that.
The Dean's List Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, old listeners and new, and a bunch of new listeners, welcome to the Dean's List Podcast. Today we have Muhammad Hamdan, Muhammad Yunus, we have Ali Farhat, and making his debut, the awaited son, Jalal Hamdan. Say hello, Jalal.
Hey guys, it's good to be here.
And then we have our new producer coming in finally, Ali D. And we have our original OG producer, Ahmed Khalil. Today, boys, we have a lot of things to get into. I just want to start off the podcast today telling everybody that we're on some new platforms. We're on Spotify, we're on Anchor, we're on Apple Podcast and YouTube. So make sure you guys go in, subscribe, like, follow, give us 5 stars, and leave a good comment. Don't leave any negative vibes. It's all good vibes. And also, we have a new tag for all of our social media. Somebody will get fired because of that. It's at DLPcast. Again, that's at DLPcast. And you could find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you search on all your podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, the Dean's List, that's DEEN, as in the Dean List Podcast, and you'll find us. And we're on episode 4 today. So, and catch us every Monday as well. Forgot to mention that. Every Monday we'll drop new episodes, and you'll find us, as I said, on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. Boys, I have the funniest and the most intriguing story ever. I don't know if it's going to really underwhelm.
I've been waiting for this for 3 days.
You've been hyping it up.
Ever since I saw the...
Oh,
You've been hyping it up.
I'm going to hype it up even more. Yeah, it's been pretty awesome. I felt so good after this. So let me paint you the picture. So usually every morning for suhoor, so you know the pre-meal before we start fasting. So this is around 3 a.m. I go to my parents' house to eat suhoor with them. So let me just show you, like, to describe how my parents' house is. You know, so there's a house, and then behind my parents' house is like the neighborhood park. And then on the right side of my parents' house is like a sidewalk where people get to walk into the park. So my parents have 2 cars. One car is in the garage and my brother's car is in the driveway. So this is me like around 3 o'clock. I'm dressed in a black hoodie, black pants, and I'm driving it. I'm already irritated for waking up so early on only like 2 hours of sleep. So as I pull in, I see like somebody looking into my brother's car on the driveway. And then as I turn in, he looks back and he jolts to the sidewalk. And I'm like, okay. So I park my truck. I put up my hoodie. So like my whole face is covered pretty much. So I just go to the end of the sidewalk and I just waited.
Crazy.
And then like...
He left the car?
No. So he was looking and then he see me pull in and then he's like, oh shoot. And then he just like right into the sidewalk to go to the field.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to wait here to see if he comes back. And then all of a sudden he's like walking back and then he makes eye contact. So he's like, okay, I can't walk back because he's going to chase me. So he walks down and then he looks at me. He's like, good evening, sir. How are you?
Most casual greeting at 3
And then
a.m.
I'm like, what are you doing here? And then he's like, oh, I'm just going for a walk, sir. And he knows somebody's trying to do something bad if he keeps saying sir.
Yeah,
you know, he's trying to bring down the situation. He's like, I'm just going for a walk, sir. It's a good night, sir. I'm like, why are you looking into my car here? He's like, I wasn't, sir. I'm like, I seen you. He's like, I wasn't. I'm like, I seen you. And then he's like, listen, sir, I don't want any problems. I'm like, you got problems. Why were you looking in my car? He's like, you know what? I wasn't looking. And I'm like, I seen you. And then he's like, I have my boys waiting. And then he's like pointing to a car. And there was like a car across the street and their lights were on. I'm like, I don't care. Bring them. And then he's like, well, what are you going to do about it? I'm like, depends what you want to do, man. And then he's like, listen, buddy, I don't want any trouble. I'm sorry. I don't want to do anything. And then he just jolts to the guy's car. He gets in the car and the car's like, and they just peel off.
Was he like a older, younger?
He was a 16-year-old boy.
Wow.
I felt so much power.
Wow, Bilal, pick on someone your own size, please.
Literally.
No, but like imagine.
No, man,
like,
you have to scar that kid for life.
I did,
100%.
Make
bro.
sure-
Imagine
Because honestly, Bilal, in our area, because I live right beside your parents' house, there's actually been a lot of problems with
yeah, a
it.
lot of
Yeah.
break-
My street alone, like people like my dad noticed like footsteps going towards my car and like handprints on my car and stuff like that. So
No, the thing is, what like for people that don't know me, I'm like 6 foot, 220 pounds. Just imagine like somebody was wearing all black with a beard, a bald head, just
Yeah.
staring you down. What are you doing? It's like trying to scare me. Like my boys are there. I'm like, I don't care. Bring them. So I'm pretty sure that kid's scarred for life. I really hope.
Good though.
he
You
is.
set him straight.
I
no,
hope he
good,
does.
yeah, because honestly, there was a problem.
No, I know because the guy like that lives across my parents' house. Like he's like nothing was stolen. Somebody just came in and broke the window. And
they
I'm
just
pretty
did it
sure
for
it's
fun?
like yeah, and just pretty much these kids are like they're driving around. They're bored out of their mind for this
Because of the
quarantine.
quarantine.
Yeah. Speaking of the quarantine, we have our soon-to-be doctor Muhammad Yunus. What's up, Muhammad?
Not much, man. How you doing?
Good. I see you're rocking that Nike cap today.
Always trying to rock a cap. Can't get a haircut these days, so it's tough. Unless you want to get a haircut at home, and then you're gonna have to just buzz it all off. Which
Go
is,
bald like me, man.
There's no way.
Or you can give yourself a really bad fade.
No, I'd rather just grow it out. Like, and I was actually talking about this earlier today. We'll get to the whole COVID update real quick, but I think the toughest thing about this whole shutdown is the fact that barbershops are closed. Because I'm the kind of person that gets a haircut every 2 weeks, and not having access to that is so hard, man. It's so tough.
Just tell Mesh to cut your hair.
There's no way that's happening. There's no way that's happening. Majd is my 16-year-old younger brother. It's not happening. No way. But
Why don't you just grow it out like me?
no, no.
Your hair is
offense.
like an afro, isn't
Look,
it?
my hair is really rough and thick, so I can't really do much with it when it grows. And this is gonna sound really weird, but if I let it grow too much, then I actually get headaches. It's weird.
What, your
I
hair goes
actually
inwards?
relate to that. All I do.
too heavy.
Honestly, it's just
No,
weird.
no,
Like I just
I
get
get that
headaches.
too.
I
I
get
get
like
that
random
too.
spots where like my head starts to bother me. So I like to keep it short.
Every week I shave my head. Every Sunday.
You don't have hair.
That's why I shave every Sunday.
I think the best way to do it is every 2 weeks get a haircut, but then the week in between your two haircuts, get a cleanup. That way your neck and everything stays clean.
What's your budget on month like for haircuts?
So I got haircuts.
How much is a haircut in the Saba Islands?
Oh, over there I just left, like you just leave the guy at 20 and you're good. But I used to get a haircut every like 3 weeks there because I never had time. I was always studying. But no, here I have hookups, so it's not the end of the world. Anyways,
I just wanted to let you know that you don't understand your role here. You're just COVID-19. We don't care. About
hey, Bilal,
we'll let that slide. Producers edit that part out. Okay, go ahead.
I try to have some
COVID-19.
fun here and whatever, man. These guys suck. Anyways, so there is some good news. I know the quarantine has been tough for a lot of people and just being out of work and all that kind of stuff. But alhamdulillah, the Alberta government has come out with a plan, and they're starting to roll it out actually today with some of the preliminary steps. Basically, they want to gradually reopen the city and the province at large. And they're starting with like just some outdoor stuff, like opening up some like public spaces, golf courses, stuff like that. Even like something about like boats and stuff like that on certain lakes. So that's all really good. And if everything goes as planned, and if we don't shock the system in these next couple of weeks, by May 14, we should have stage 1 commencing, which basically would entail the opening of barbershops, thank God, and a bunch of other things such as like restaurants and some like elective surgeries that are now being allowed to be done again, all that kind of stuff. So with baby steps, things will get better as long as we don't shock the system. But now the question is, what do you guys think about this? Like, do you guys think this is a good idea to start reopening things now, or should we wait a little bit longer?
Is Alberta the first to come out with this?
I think so in Canada.
I think
Like in Canada, I mean,
I think
yeah.
each province has their own stages.
But has anybody else announced anything, or is it just
PEI,
Alberta?
I think, also kind of started opening up.
Yeah, so I'm not sure too much about other provinces, but I do know that other provinces had things like golf courses open up before we did. So I think each province is kind of going based on their own situation. Overall, Alberta's actually, I think, 3rd or 4th most in terms of cases, but the vast majority of those cases are in Calgary. So that's another issue too. Like, so there's other provinces that are doing much better than Alberta, and they're, I think, also gradually opening up. But I think the biggest issue here is the reason why this is happening is more, in my opinion, crowd control. Like there was those riots in Vancouver, right? people are they're getting sick and tired of it. They just want everything to go back to normal.
Wait, there was riots?
Yeah, people like not necessarily like not in violent riots,
Like
right?
protests?
Protests.
Yeah,
Yeah,
general
protests.
protests.
Yeah,
Protests.
Yeah, bad choice of words.
But honestly, though, I think the protests, like we had one in Edmonton a couple days ago, where there was like I think 100 people there
Oh, yeah, the
150
Trump
people,
one?
yeah.
waving the Trump flag. Yeah. Just move there. I don't understand why you're here. You know,
That's why
wait
like,
so
they
much.
always hate like immigrants. Like, oh, you don't like it? Get out. Why don't they get out? They don't like it. I don't get it. Man.
But no, in all honesty, I think that I think everybody's kind of thinking that just. I know it's bad to say, but if we're gonna get it, we're gonna get it. I think a lot of people. The sentiment is like everybody's gonna get it eventually, and they want to just kind of like reduce the amount of cases that they get. But through people I've talked to, I think they're all saying now they're just kind of tired of it, and they don't want to go. You know, they don't want to keep doing it. Even though I'm against it, I think we should keep quarantining, keep trying to. Like, you know, flatten the curve, but I think people in general are just
Yeah, like I didn't think it was gonna happen this fast. Like stuff.
neither did
reopening.
I
didn't
thought it would
think-
be like end of summertime.
Me too.
Things would open up.
Me
But
too.
I think the phase system is like the perfect thing. Like,
Yeah, it
I
is.
I think especially because with how stubborn people are, I think the best way to do it is just to slowly incorporate things like back to normal.
Well, golf course is already open. Like I seen one today open.
Yeah,
think this weekend they
they're starting
opened
to open. I think officially, like all of them on May 14th or something. That's like stage 1, I think, or is that earlier?
So the golf course is part of the preliminary stuff that started today actually.
Oh,
But then
Yeah.
stage 1 is like more the barber shops, the restaurants.
That's
and
May
like,
14.
That's May 14. As long as things go well, it could be pushed back a bit, but we'll see how things go.
So when do they announce like the later stages?
Yeah, that's
or they
just gonna
don't
ask
really.
that.
There isn't really set dates from what I know. All I know is that they're going to start off with like stage 1 and they're going to see how that goes.
Oh, okay, I get
and then
you.
that's when they go to stage 2.
And did you say
stage
malls are
3.
in stage 3?
Malls aren't in any stages. I think malls are like
Just
if
knock
you,
it
if
open
you look
ever
at the
again,
actual
please?
thing, it's not in any stage. But I think they're going to be considered stage 2 or 3.
I'm not sure about that because I saw as part of stage 1, some retail businesses will be allowed to open again.
Yeah.
So and like farmers markets are now fully functional again, starting phase 1.
Yeah.
So I think that the malls would be able to open again because the reason why a lot of malls close is because their stores shut down, right? But the mall itself, I think, is still fine.
Yeah, you can still go there for walks. I know people that take walks in the mall.
Yeah.
And you can still go in there.
Oh, so the malls are still
Yeah,
open.
the malls are open
because
themselves.
there's
It's
banks
the
in the malls
businesses.
too that are still open. Like Londonderry, I know the banks are still open
Yeah.
and Shoppers is still open there too. In
Yeah,
Londonderry.
I did
Walmart
not
too
know
at
that.
The
North.
gyms are all
And
up
save
until
up for-
stage 3, right?
Yeah, I think
gyms are-
gyms, arenas, all that kind of stuff. Stage 3. Sorry, Bilal. But
Good.
Well, of course I know though they're really pushing for the Edmonton, like to have the city of Edmonton be the host for the NHL games.
Yeah, that's
They're making a real big bid for that.
yeah.
Honestly, though, I kind of heard otherwise. I heard that like there wasn't any talks between like Jason Kenney and Gary Bettman.
I was reading yesterday. It was like I think Ryan Rashok tweeted it, where it was like Edmonton's really making.
Can you
a push
talk in the
for it.
mic, Jalal?
Sorry, not used to this. My face is now on the mic.
Yeah, keep it there. Well, is that it for COVID-19? Watch.
Yeah, like that's the update right now. We'll see how things go. But I just want like the one thing I want to ask is like, how do you guys think this whole situation is going to change the rest of our lives? Like, do you think it's going to have a lifelong impact, or do you think once COVID is solved, then everything goes back to the way it was before?
I think it's gonna change a bit.
They say the vaccines, once we get a vaccine, everything should go to normal. They're just waiting on a vaccine. Isn't that the whole thing?
But I think there's effects behind this. Like, you know how many mental illnesses are gonna come out through this, and people with serious depression issues. Like, from what I've seen on posts at the university, a lot of people are having a lot of mental health issues with this. Because some people here, they're alone, right? They're not having, like, we're privileged to be with our families, right? And this is gonna cause, I don't know. I think there's gonna be a lot of long-lasting effects from this, and they're not generally gonna be like primary effects. I guess they'll be secondary. But I think definitely like life is not gonna.
Well, I think some of
Go
the
back to
long-lasting effects are gonna go to like everyday life, like even like going to movie theaters. Like, I mean, movie theaters, if you think about it, are one of the most dirtiest things. Like, you know, you're sharing seats with everyone, right? And even like going to hockey games, going to concerts, like you're so close to so many people. So I think it's gonna take a long time for people to get comfortable with that again. And I think it's gonna, like, personally, I don't think a lot of stuff is gonna be the same.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point about the cleanliness aspect, right? So I think safety and health protocol is going to be going through the roof.
Oh, definitely.
And I also think that they're going to make the flu shot mandatory for everyone. So, like, I think that's one change that's going to come about, and people just are going to have to deal with it. And I think after seeing what happened with Corona, they might just be like, you know what, that's fine. We'll take our flu shot once a year. It's not a big deal. Sorry to the anti-vaxxers out there. And the last thing on this topic, I think, is the economy issue, right? So I think, honestly, maybe we might see something like PST coming to Alberta. I would not be surprised.
I could see that too. I could see that happening.
Right, because the government's giving out so much money, but eventually it's going to have to make it back somehow.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that's probably the biggest force behind the phase 1 starting this early.
Yeah, the economy.
Yeah,
they're trying to rebuild the economy.
Yeah, it's very rough.
Yeah.
Here at least.
Big time.
Inshallah, become victorious over this bala or this, unnecessariness. Alhamdulillah. Speaking of victories, did you guys know that Ramadan is considered to be the month of victories? Did you guys know that?
What?
Okay. Not the reaction I was looking for. I guess I'll just talk to myself here.
Woo, yeah.
The victory.
So today I wanted to bring out, there are a lot of victories that happen in the Muslim Ummah in Ramadan, but I want to talk about the 4 battles that happened and the Muslims were victorious in Ramadan, and I want to tell you guys why I feel it's important, or like how they're so history changing. So the first battle, or the first victory in the Muslim history, is a victory of the Battle of Badr. So this was the first battle in Islam. And this is a battle, and I don't want to get into too much details, but this is a battle where the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ put in a small unit or infantry unit to go and intercept his enemies' caravan that were stealing their products. And he wanted to intercept them and stop them from stealing. And when the opposing side, or the enemies of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ got wind of this, they sent an army to face off Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And in that, they outnumbered the Muslim army about 2-1 or something like that. It was
3-1.
3-1. And against all odds, the Muslims won that victory. And I think that is one of the best, one of the changing history is that, number one, it established that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is no longer a weak or a weak set or a weak group that they could be trampled over or stopped. So it really put his call or his message on point.
It put them on the map.
It put him on the map. That's the word I was looking for. And then the second thing that happened was the Mecca conquest. So this is when the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ returned to Mecca after being, we call it self-exiled into Medina. And this happened after the disbelievers of Mecca decided to break a treaty with the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, in which they attacked and they killed some of his companions. So the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ united all the tribes in the Arab Peninsula, and he went down into Mecca.
And sorry, Bilal, to cut you off there. The interesting thing about that one is that it was a peaceful conquest.
Yeah, I was just getting to that. But go ahead, talk about it.
So like a peaceful conquest, like the Muslims were so strong and powerful at that time when they came into Mecca. Like the people of Quraysh, they had no choice but to surrender peacefully. And many of them ended up seeing the truth. Like they've been denying the truth for so many years. And they saw how powerful the Muslims were and how lenient they were with them. Because the Muslims were at a position where they could have went and just destroyed every single one of them and took back everything that was taken from them. But the Muslims chose to like be the bigger people and just have mercy on everyone and give them a second chance. And because of that show of mercy, a lot of these people of Quraysh, they ended up accepting Islam and realizing that it was the truth.
Spoiler alert, so pause it if you never watched Game of Thrones. That's exactly what Khaleesi did when she took her dragons to the what's that the main city called again?
King's Landing.
King's Landing. Opposite. She destroyed the whole thing. Yeah. So you could unpause it now. And then the third conquest, or the third major, the main reason why that's a big point in the Muslim history is that, as Muhammad Yunus said, is that it established that Islam is a true religion, and it showed that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was not out for personal gain or revenge. And it also started showing that the Muslim Ummah started growing rather than just being in one major city. Now it has 2 cities, and it starts showing that it's unified army between tribes rather than each tribe fighting for itself. So it started showing aspect of the Muslim state, and it's showing that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a true messenger. And then the third major event happened in Ramadan, or about Ramadan, was when the Muslims entered and conquered Spain. So I don't know, a lot of Muslims don't know this, but the Islamic Empire reached to the depth of Europe. So there are some reports that Muslims made it all the way to the borders of France in the time after the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I find that this is one of the best, or one of the major events to happen in the Muslim Ummah, that Islam started spreading across continents. So it's no longer just stuck in the Middle East or in Asia. It started going into Europe, and it started going to the non-Arabs. And lastly, or like one of the ones I wanted to talk about, was Ain Jalut, the Battle of Ain Jalut. So this has happened when the Mongols were literally taking all over the world, and the only army that stood up to them and stopped them was the Muslims. And this happened in Ain Jalut. And if I say that if it wasn't the Muslims that stopped the Mongols or Genghis Khan, the Mongols would have taken over Europe and would have conquered the whole world. So a lot of people owe it to the Muslims at that time that put an end to the Genghis Khan's or the Mongols' conquest at that time. And those are the four major battles that I think that happened and changed the course of history for the Muslims. And it all happened in Ramadan. And it just shows that being in Ramadan means that you could be victorious. It's not about being lazy. It's not being about being a loser. It's rather than you being and taking initiative in your life and being a better person in Ramadan. What are you guys' thoughts on this?
I think one thing you can take away from it is I think a lot of people in Ramadan, they just kind of lay back, kind of relax. And especially with quarantine now, you're kind of already doing that. So I think it's a good time to take inventory, and you can work on yourself Islamically and in also other aspects of your life as well. So like you said, victory, it doesn't have to be necessarily conquering, enemies, right? It's conquering the obstacles in your life.
Yeah, no, I think Ramadan and quarantine is like the best combination, but it's also the worst combination for a lot of people. I think it's good because it gives people a lot of time to focus on some of the goals that they set for themselves and achieve those goals throughout Ramadan. But I mean, like, let's be honest, like, quarantine with Ramadan it forces a lot of people to be lazy and like not have any motivation to do stuff and whatnot.
Yeah, but like again, back to the whole idea of victory, and what I like what Jalal and Ali both said. Like, it doesn't have to be victory on a battlefield, right? It doesn't have to be a conquest to be a victory. It can be a victory against your own self, right? A victory against some of our own weaknesses. We all have our weaknesses. We all have our shortcomings and stuff. And to build that discipline, as Bilal was mentioning last week on the podcast, being able to build that discipline during this month is a victory against our own nafs. So it truly is a month of victories in many different ways.
And I just also want to say, like, a lot of us, we try to break bad habits and we try to stop doing wrong and try to do good. And we're going to have relapses. We're all human. But, even when you have these relapses, it's a victory in itself that where you recognize your relapse and you try again. And you don't ever feel, devastated, like, oh, I wanted to stop doing this and I ended up doing it again. I'm just going to quit. And that is like literally the shaitan coming to you and saying, well, what's the point? Like, you can't even do it, but you have to keep trying. You have to keep trying. And then the hadith that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ says that all people of Adam, all the sons and daughters of Adam are, they're sinners. But the best of sinners are the ones that repent. So don't take it as a loss that you did something wrong and you're trying to quit and you did it wrong, rather than look at it as a form of victory that you're still trying and you're still coming over it. Do you have anything to add, Muhammad Hamdan? No? Yeah, all right. So, right now, we would have been watching some NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs. Is there any updates on that? Do you guys know anything? The last thing I know is NBA was thinking about Walt Disney. I know Vegas kind of volunteered to have the games at their end.
I read a tweet, something that Batman said that he would be okay with starting or ending this season in December. So I think they're intent on having a full season.
No, starting next season.
He wants to start next season in
December. Is that what it was?
Starting the next season in December.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't finish this season?
No, they'll finish the
it.
season in the playoffs. They'll do the draft. They'll do training camp, all that stuff, the combine. and then they'll start the next season in
But
December.
are they going to condense it to 82 games? Or?
What I heard, what they're gonna do is they're gonna make it a full season, so 82 games. But it's obviously gonna be condensed. So they're probably gonna take out the All-Star break. They're gonna take out
The bye weeks.
Yeah, the bye weeks and all that stuff.
Yeah, I also saw something about a major holdup being the fact that the owners want to make this whole December start time the norm. So some of the owners apparently, I saw this in one article where some of the owners, they want December to be the regular start time for the NHL season, which I don't think is a good idea. But
That's so
because-
weird.
from
So then
now
they'll play
on?
into the
from
summer?
now on, yeah.
Oh, and they play in the summer?
Yeah, they would play in the summer.
But you know what though?
I would love
The
that.
only reason why
do you-
I could see them thinking about that is because the summer, like, I feel like it generates so much more revenue to them.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
man.
when
Yeah,
people
that would
have
be
work
true.
off, like, because even like let's say like I want to plan a trip. Like I'm in school all year, but the summer's when I have
That's
it
so
off.
smart.
And
would
if I
love
want to
that.
go watch a game wherever, like I have the summer off to go do it.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That's true.
actually, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know.
So just
that's
give
why
them
I
the
could see
fall
them
off.
doing it.
But would the players like that?
That's
though?
the thing. I was gonna say the players probably want the
players-
summers off.
Oh, 100%. They're for sure not happy about
Think
that.
about it. Yeah, you go from having
Their,
July
their breaks
off.
would be from like August to December. Our 6 month
It would
break.
be July.
Not even.
I think July to
Not
September.
right
July?
up to December. Probably like August to like November.
Yeah, because they have to do training camp and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's
right?
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
If I was a player, I would not be happy about that.
I would not be happy
Yeah.
either.
I would rather just suffer for 1 year, have a really condensed 82 game schedule
Yeah.
starting in December, and then next season go back to normal.
Well, for that next year, then it would be all about the team with the most endurance.
Yeah,
You know,
100%.
'cause
100%.
You're condensing the games like that.
You're condensing the games, or you're
I
just
think, I mean, like
condensing-
the schedule, right?
you're
Like
playing,
82
probably-
games over the course of
You're gonna have like back-to-backs a lot.
tons. Yeah,
There won't
yeah.
be any All Star break.
no
won't be
bye
any
weeks.
bye weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
like,
It'll be rough.
big time. Big time.
So we're in the time right now that NHL playoffs would have been taking place.
I said that, but yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, what do you guys think the predictions would have been for the Stanley Cup Finals? Which two teams would have came out of the East and West, and who would have took it all?
Honestly,
We're gonna go around the table here.
Do you guys need to know?
I
which
would need
teams?
it. I would need to see it like on a bracket.
It's just pick
I don't
two
know.
teams,
Who's-
like
who's
just
gonna
off the
tell
top of your head.
I couldn't
like,
tell you. I don't know.
I honestly say Tampa Bay for sure out of the East
Get
No.
out of town.
because
okay?
they're all
Just
healthy.
Let him pick it. Let him
Yeah,
pick his team.
let me
No,
talk.
man. If it's something
Okay,
dumb,
think
man.
what? Think about it. Tampa Bay will be healthy. Okay, and they were going and they missed Stamkos, right?
They got- didn't they get
Bay-
swept?
Hedman
Tampa
had an
Bay
issue.
is never healthy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But what I'm saying is going in to this, let's say we start the playoffs next month or whatever. If they're going into that, they'll be healthy. They'll be a healthy team. And so my picks would be Tampa Bay, and I'm sorry, I'm an Oilers fan, but I think the Avalanche come out of the West. And I think Tampa Bay takes it all.
I thought you're fasting.
Didn't Tampa Bay get swept last year by
Why are you
Columbus?
being stupid?
Yeah, but
Sure does.
But
honestly though, Columbus had a very good team.
Yeah, think about it.
especially
I don't know. I
after
don't
the
think
Aaron
Tampa's
Shane.
trade
they're
deadline.
just a bunch of chokes.
They had a very good team.
Yeah, Tampa choked once. Look, the Capitals
Once.
choked those 2 years. They won the cup the next year. Tampa was embarrassed last year. They come back this year swinging.
Yeah.
Last year they were on like cruise control.
How many points? Well, they finished the season right now with 92 points. Like, if the season were to stop right now,
Yeah.
they have 43 wins, 21 losses, and 6 overtime. And then they have 92 points.
Yeah, and they're
Boston is only ahead of them by 100. Or like 8
by 100
points.
points. Wow,
Like,
Boston's doing great.
8 points. They're at 100 points.
So yeah, like I said, Tampa Bay, they have the depth. They have the all-star scoring.
Who
They
wins the
have.
cup? Them?
I think they win the cup. Yeah,
Against Avalanche?
I guess the Avalanche. I think they win the cup.
What's Avalanche at?
And the Avalanche will get like I know Rantanen was
92,
injured. They'll get him back.
I think so. Boston and Columbus would be playing in the first round, and Tampa and Toronto.
Well, we're not talking about first round. We're talking about just.
No, I know in general, but I think Boston would beat Tampa.
You think so?
I
think
believe
so.
so. Yeah,
I think so.
And I think Boston would beat Philly.
So you're saying Boston's going to the finals?
I would say Boston go to the
I
finals.
agree
Yeah,
with Hamdan. I actually think Boston.
because I think Boston is a better team. I think Philly would win on their end.
Why are you crying, Ali?
Like, sorry to break it to you, Ali, but I'm being serious. Like, I think
Whatever. I have
Boston.
my own opinion, and I'll get to it.
Yeah, I think Well, let's keep it. I think Boston would beat Philly. This is the way I'm looking at it right now. Colorado's. Yeah, I would put.
Colorado had no
know,
Rantanen for the
man.
longest time, and Landeskog
Yeah.
and McKinnon.
And they're
Colorado-
at 2 points. Why are you
Yeah.
doing
Sorry, Colorado healthy.
Yeah, as I'm saying,
Yeah,
they're
like they
healthy.
would. I think I would put Colorado maybe in the finals.
They
'cause
win the West,
St.
unless
Louis, no. Nashville, no. Dallas,
Papa Drake
no.
and Drake is there.
Yeah, I'd put Colorado and Boston.
I think the Oilers, they need more. Like, they'll make the playoffs. They'll win a round or two, but it's not their time yet.
Actually,
They
I don't even
need-
know if I'd put Colorado.
Really?
Can you stick to a team
I'm sorry.
already?
Can you pick your thing?
Just go. Colorado.
Here comes
Boston.
Ali for hot sweeping the entire playoffs.
But I don't
the
think
Philadelphia
Colorado's that
Flyers.
great.
It's
Okay,
not
so
even, it's
you
not
have
even my
Boston
turn
winning the
yet.
cup.
Yeah, I think Boston would have won the cup this
Okay,
year.
and
They're
you
actually
have
deadly.
Tampa winning
I
the
have
cup.
Tampa winning the cup.
Okay,
Yeah.
Ali.
Okay, go Ali. I'll
No,
go.
go,
last.
Bilal.
Okay, I think Boston will win the cup. And then out of the West, I'm going to go with, honestly, I'm going to go with the Avalanche. They're actually surprising. I did not even know they had 92 points, so I'm going to go with them. I know a lot of people, like, especially here in Edmonton, want the Oilers, but, let's be realistic. They need, like, one more year, and then we'll probably consider them, like, top-notch. They're still technically rebuilding this year, aren't they?
I hope my dad doesn't hear this podcast because he'll kill me if I say anything other than the Oilers.
If you need a place to stay, you're more than welcome to stay in my house.
Down.
So I think actually it's going to be a rematch of 2018 finals with Vegas and Washington coming out of their respective conferences.
I take it.
Wow.
I, take
I
it
don't
back.
think so.
Jalal, I take it back. You're not dumb. Jesus. Go ahead.
So no, the reason why I say that is because I like what Vegas did at the trade deadline, picking up Leonard, and just the team overall is a powerhouse team. They're such a good team.
They are. They're great.
They're a very, very good team. So I do see Vegas coming out on top this time with Leonard as a secondary goalie option. I think that's going to be huge. And then I just feel like Washington, man, like, I don't know. They kind of struggled with their goalies in the year that they won. This year, again, they kind of had their goalie struggles again. But I feel like they might be able to come out on top just with this whole break kind of makes everything so weird.
Definitely.
So it does make it a little bit more difficult to pick a winner. But I would say that Vegas would win over Washington. Even though I love Ovechkin, I'm a huge Washington fan. But I think Vegas would win it this year against Washington.
I can honestly see the Western Conference Final, Vegas versus the Avalanche.
Hold on.
Yeah,
I could
me
see
too.
it.
I
Yeah.
agree.
I'm keeping track so I could call you guys out. So Eunice, you have Vegas wins versus Washington.
Yeah, I had Boston.
Hamdan, you have Boston wins versus who are they coming? Who are they facing?
Against Colorado.
Colorado. And then Jay.
Ali is so excited to talk right now. I can just
I
tell.
am so like
He is
wasting
gonna
time here.
spit.
He's gonna bring up the streak.
fire.
He's gonna bring up 12 games.
Like,
Like,
Philly had the greatest.
Philly won the cup. in
Carter
the
Hart's from
January.
Sherwood Park.
Like, oh my god. Okay,
He's
Jay,
gonna
who
ta-
do you have? Boston winning.
no, I have Tampa winning over the Avalanche.
Okay, Tampa wins versus Avalanche. I'm writing this down for all our listeners. I'm doing horrendous.
I already know Ali's Eastern, but I just want to know.
Okay,
his
let's
Western.
jump on to the NBA
No one.
playoffs. Okay, go ahead, Ali. Let's hear this propaganda.
So, I think you guys all know my East team, but let me explain why.
Oh god.
So the Flyers right now, if the season would have ended, they would have finished second in the Metro, 1 point behind Washington. Which honestly, I think for 100% they would have took the Metro Division. 100%. They would have took the Metro Division. They would have played either the Islanders, Columbus, or Carolina, and I think they would have killed them.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But honestly though, I just think in terms of the Flyers, like they have Claude Giroux, someone who's been to the playoffs a bunch of times.
Most of the guys have.
Yeah, like Sean Couturier,
Except their
Voracek,
goalies.
Kevin Hayes. Like
They're a good team.
Like
They are.
they have experience. The only thing they lack in experience with playoffs is Carter Hart.
Yeah.
Right, and their defense is kind of young too.
Isn't it Kevin Hart or whatever his name is? Hart? Isn't he the goalie?
Kevin Hart.
Kevin
No,
Hart.
no, not
Yeah.
Kevin Hart.
Yeah, Kevin Hart is the
But isn't that
Comedian
like
Kevin
a
Hart.
very important experience to have as a goalie?
It
Yeah,
is,
but
but
Binnington won
you
it
know
last
what
year.
though? Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know what though? Carter Hart has proven to be like unstoppable. Like he I think he can pull off a Binnington, and so anyway,
Laugh in the mic, it's
I don't
okay.
think he can.
Laugh in the mic,
I think
Hamdan.
I
You're
think
allowed to laugh.
I think the Flyers are going to make it to the finals.
Okay, what about the West?
Okay, but the Flyers are winning the cup, is what you're saying.
Oh, 100%.
His answer for the West is who cares?
I think this is the Flyers' year 100%.
I think they had a good
Alright.
chance.
And if
but
anyone
it's
has a
gone
problem
now.
with that, you guys can fight Bilal Abdu.
What?
And
who's coming
I think out of the West,
the West.
at first, honestly, I thought Colorado because what Jalal was saying, like they were so successful without Landeskog and Rantanen throughout the whole season. The only thing about Colorado that I'm iffy about is their goaltending, right? So, and I think everyone knows that goaltending wins Stanley Cups. So if we're talking about the best goaltending in the West, I think it's for sure Vegas with Fleury and Leonard. And something about the playoffs is you need to make sure that you have two healthy goalies and two strong goalies. Yep. And I think that Fleury and Leonard are those two goalies. So I
Okay,
think
pick a team already. Man.
I think Vegas is going to the finals against Philly.
Honestly, ESPN's not going to call you after they hear this. Okay, NBA,
Okay,
let's
Bilal,
do...
are you
You
not
guys
gonna-
want to do it? No, you know what? Let's just leave NBA till next week. How do you guys think about that?
We can. I
We
don't
just
care.
do it. I don't really know.
How are we
Honestly,
looking at time?
I'm gonna take a back seat to this discussion. I have no idea.
Okay, fine. Who wants to do this NBA? Let's do the NBA.
Okay, I'll start with NBA.
Okay, let's
So I'm
go.
gonna keep it really short and sweet. I have LeBron James and Lakers winning
Oh,
against
of course.
against the Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay, let me write this down so I can make fun of you later.
Okay,
Eunice has Lakers. I wonder why.
LBJ.
Oh, God.
I think he's just a big fan of the color scheme. He just the yellow and purple just catches his eye.
Lakers
Very
win.
ugly.
I want to make it clear. I do like LeBron James, but I don't know. You fanboys make him seem like, And against the Bucks, you said?
Yep.
Okay. Next, who else do we have? Jalad, just pick 2 teams.
I'm gonna Charlotte Hornets.
I'll leave in the
The
playoffs.
Charlotte Hornets. Former
just-
Bobcats. That's my basketball knowledge.
I'm not very educated in NBA. Like I watch it, but I'm gonna go Clippers
My man.
versus the Bucks.
He literally just googled best predictions for playoffs NBA.
Yeah,
Clippers win?
Clippers versus the Bucks. Clippers win.
Okay.
Kawhi back to back.
Ali, what do you guys have?
For me, if you would have asked me in the beginning of the season, I would have said the Clippers for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I think now, I think for sure coming out of the East will be Milwaukee. I don't think any team has a chance against Milwaukee.
Okay.
And I think LeBron is on a mission this year.
Oh, I already know what Adi's gonna say.
And I think the Lakers are going to win.
Oh, really?
No, I think the Lakers are going to win. But if you're asking me for my underdog, I think the
know.
Dallas Mavericks. I think Dallas is going to have
What
a
happened to
good
Dame
run.
time?
They're not even in the playoffs.
Oh,
right
they're
now.
not?
No, but if they do make it, then they might be a good.
Well,
a
sorry,
good
the picture
shot
I was
too.
looking at is wrong then.
You're looking for like 2018?
Oh, this was posted on October 20th of 2019.
Uh huh.
Oh,
So it's up
that's
to date.
just fantastic.
Okay. I'm going to go Clippers are going to win. You could put that in. Kawhi Leonard has a better cast than LeBron James does. LeBron James has had Anthony Davis and maybe Kuzma, but that's it. So
Kuzma sucks.
He doesn't need anyone else.
clearly. And then they're going to win. And out of the East, I'm going to put faith in my Raptors.
No.
That's
I
hilarious.
think they're going to take down, they're so underestimated. They're so underestimated.
That is so bad.
I honestly think they're not going to win the finals, but they're going to go back.
You know, I love you, Bilal, but that's probably the stupidest thing you've ever said.
You want to fight? Trust me, man. Like, I love, what's his name?
You love him so much. You love him so much.
Giannis?
I love Giannis. He's the next face of the NBA. He's going to take the NBA to the new heights. But I don't know. I think this year the Raptors will still win because like their records show that they're a good team without Kawhi Leonard. Even last year they had more wins without Kawhi Leonard either. But I don't know. I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Raptors so nobody could call me out when they're back in the finals and everybody is on their bandwagon again. And that's my talk.
All right, well.
Okay,
I
we'll
think
see what
that's wrong,
happens.
but
We'll
Okay,
see
fine.
what happens when it's all
Fine.
said and done.
Fine.
When the fat lady sings.
Okay, how about this?
Yo,
Let's
whoa,
make this
whoa, whoa.
interesting.
Don't sing, Bilal.
Body positivity, man.
Positive vibes. Let's go.
And positive vibes. Don't leave us bad reviews. Positive vibes.
I just want to let all our listeners know we're having trials for new hosts. There's going to be free spots. Okay, let's make this interesting. Inshallah, when this playoff happens, coronavirus will be done. Whoever is way off, how about this? Whoever wins, whoever has the right picks for both NHL and NBA, we all have to we pay for their dinner.
Who has the right picks?
Yeah,
Okay, well, I
100%
didn't make
right.
NBA picks.
I'm going straight to Cactus Club, and you guys are paying for
Okay,
it.
we'll see.
Okay, so do I get double the odds for the
Okay, how
NHL
about
one?
next week you give us a pick?
Okay, I'll look into it.
Wait,
I'll ask my
did
friends.
Did you give us a pick for the NHL? I don't think you did.
What do you mean? Yeah, I did.
Oh, did you?
I bet Boston and Colorado. Boston
okay.
wins.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, now the highly anticipated table talk. Jay, you're gonna give us a new tone?
Yeah,
for this.
I'll figure out a new beat for the table talk. Why not?
This table talk is brought to you by insert ad or sponsor here. If you guys are listening and you want to sponsor DLP, let us know and we could make table talk sponsored by you. Until then, it is sponsored by our producer Ahmed Khalil. Thanks
Thanks,
donating,
Ahmed
by the way.
Khalil. Yeah. Woo! Okay, here we go. Table
Okay,
talk.
table talk number 1.
Well, I wanted to keep this one. This is an extra one. I wanted to since we're all fasting here, what do you guys think the best topping is on a pizza?
Araf. Okay, go ahead.
That's a topping?
What?
No. I just I don't.
He's not a
one
fan of
thing
the
about
question,
me,
I think.
I'm not-
Bilal doesn't like junk food.
No, I don't. Like me personally, I've never liked pizza.
He just eats
What?
pizza.
I've never liked pizza. Like the
Wow.
only pizza I'll eat is doner pizza, and that's it.
So we're gonna be trying out new hosts on the podcast.
Okay, Jalal, what's your favorite
I'll start
pizza
my own
topping?
podcast.
Favorite
clearly.
pizza topping?
Yeah.
Just one topping?
Just
Or-
one, or like what can
Like,
you
like we're saying
Combination.
flavor.
Just one. Let's go with
If
one.
you have to have a pizza every day for the rest of your life, what's one topping you'd want on there?
I'm gonna go beef and mushroom. I know it's two, but
Yeah, it's like a combo.
yeah, beef and mushroom, whatever. That's mine. It's
Okay,
elite.
Thanks for breaking the rules.
Okay, yeah, then I guess
Beef.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
mushrooms.
So
Like, what do you-
vegetarian
like one
pizza?
topping? Who does that?
Just
One
one
topping?
topping.
Like serial
One
killers?
topping.
Like I don't know.
Sorry, man. The producer asked the question. You
I'm
know.
gonna do pineapple just to be controversial.
Oh my goodness! I hope you're joking.
No, I'm just controversial. Why not?
Oh, this is your first and last episode. So
Wow,
congrats.
seriously.
You guys all like that? Are
We're
we
really
doing
looking
this?
for hosts next week.
What color? What color was the dress?
White and gold.
Yeah.
Yo, I can
No, it
make
was
it
black and
change.
blue.
I was able to make it change though. If
Wow.
I blink,
Like with your eyes?
Yeah.
No. Okay.
I'm not joking. Like there was times where it would look white and gold, times would look black and blue. It's the weirdest thing ever.
How are you a doctor?
I'm not a doctor yet. That's a thing.
You look good, but if I blink at you, you look bad.
Okay, whatever. Jalal has. We'll call. I'll consider it as one top. You can't have one without the other. That makes no sense.
What?
Like you
The
could.
beef
It
and
has to be
mushroom?
beef and mushrooms. I agree with you.
Yeah, like beef and mushroom.
You
It's
guys are both weird.
it's a
Whatever.
combo.
whatever.
Ali,
What do you?
With some ranch. Why
I'm
not?
gonna say black olives.
Yeah.
I think black olives have to be the best
Okay, yeah.
topping on a pizza. And if you guys are gonna fight me about that, fight Bilal Abdu.
I'm doner. All doner pizza all day.
No, but the thing is a doner pizza has many toppings. So
No,
just
no,
the
just
doner
doner.
meat-
Doner, cheese and bread. That's it. That's my
Okay,
go-to.
I really like black olives for sure, and chicken. I love chicken on pizza.
You guys aren't following the rules. You gotta pick one topping.
Do you all pick two?
I said beef and mushroom, but it's a
beef and mushroom.
combo. It's like
one
everybody
thing you
says
can't-
that.
Okay, well then I would rather have chicken. I
Okay.
love chicken on my
So
pizza.
it's just chicken?
Yeah,
Barbecue chicken, or just regular chicken.
just regular chicken.
Okay.
I'm happy that took you
Yeah.
a long time to answer that.
I love meat so much, but honestly, if I had to pick one topping, it would probably be the olives.
Yeah,
Black
olives are actually
man,
really
they're
good.
So good on pizza.
Is it
Okay, but am
vegetarian
I the-
one topping? Like if
No,
it's
that's a type of pizza, dude.
Vegetarian pizza is
That's like-
actually sick. Underrated.
No. I
Come
don't like
on,
when they put
guys.
tomatoes on there.
Really?
I don't like when the tomatoes hot. I like tomatoes when they're like raw. And
I
cool.
agree.
But like when they're cooked, I don't
yeah.
like them.
That's so
I like-
gross.
Like I don't know, I'm not gonna.
Do you guys
go
like
into it.
pineapple on your pizza? Or
Yes.
am I the
No
only
way.
one?
Yes.
No.
Joe,
Yeah,
actually,
yeah. Like what the hell?
Actually
Why not?
messed
Yeah.
up. It's messed
Have
up.
you ever
Why
had
is that
tropical chicken
weird?
pizza?
No.
With like
Oh,
the Alfredo
so
sauce
good,
and the
yeah.
pineapple and the chicken.
fruit does not belong on pizza. I'm
But
sorry.
it's just pineapple.
But
I'm not
yeah,
putting like my
pineapple.
apples.
No.
Buddy, like
No.
expand your taste buds.
no way.
Yeah.
You ever have one of those summer salads? They have strawberries in them and like apples.
So
That's
good.
different. That's different. Those
They're
are actually
sick.
pretty good. No, but on
Okay, but-
pizza, dude, that's like putting like a pineapple in your spaghetti. It's
Hey,
literally
have
the
you
same
tried
thing.
it? Have you tried it?
No.
Have you
but
done
I
it?
will
Until
never
you try
will.
it.
I never will.
Don't
Not
know
a
if you should
thumbs
try
up
it.
by Ahmed Khalil. You agree with that, don't you?
You know what's really bad food? Mjadada. That's it. I just want to say that.
For those who don't know,
I like
mjadara is
mjadara
like
fattoush.
is like lentils.
It's lentils.
And fattoush, it's so good.
my
When
God.
fattoush is fresh
It's
and
like,
the
you don't
hummus is
understand.
crispy
Like,
and the
like
bread's
why do you
crispy.
make? You know your kids don't
You
like
know what's
it.
also gross?
Why are you
Mukhi.
making it?
No.
And if you hate mukhi, you can fight Bilal Abdu.
Oh, this is how I know you're weak.
So good.
Fight anybody.
I have my
He's, like,
days with
the
it.
best, man.
I'm supposed to go to my backyard and eat grass. That's what it is.
Mukhi is probably my favorite.
What is
Arabic
it?
food.
What kind of leaf is it? Like,
It's
is,
grass.
isn't it
Just
like
go
called
eat
a?
grass.
It's like straight
I don't
hemp.
know what kind of leaf it is. I know it's
You
just
know,
it's leaf.
my dad told me something. He said that apparently he heard a story that back in the day they used to call mlukhayi mlukayi, which like Malik is like king in Arabic because mlukhayi was something only that like the kings would eat. It's like that. That's how
I
good
guess
it
I'm a
was.
peasant. So
You're a peasant. You're literally a peasant.
I'll be a peasant and eat good. I don't care.
Okay, man. Whatever. To each their own.
I know. I kind of broke the rules there. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, let's try another one.
I just-
Okay, what do we have?
Okay, so for the next question, would you prefer to be too hot or too cold?
If anyone has the wrong answer in this one, you're like you shouldn't even talk.
Okay. What's the right answer?
The right answer is too cold.
for sure.
cold,
If
yeah.
anyone says too hot, then you're not normal.
Yeah,
That's weird.
Yeah,
You
no,
just,
that's
you just
really
giving
weird.
the look. You just look. Giving the look.
What?
The Sable
don't agree?
Island vibes again.
It's tough. You know what? I think overall I'd rather be too. It depends on how cold and how hot though. But I think I'd rather be too cold than too hot.
Yeah.
Just because when you're hot, you're lethargic. You're sticky and sweaty and stuff.
Because if you're cold, just put a sweater on.
Yeah.
If you're hot, like what are you gonna do?
That's true too. You
Right?
can't really control it. Yeah.
Is it because we're Canadians? We're kind of used to the cold.
I think so.
Yeah.
Like the cold does not bother me whatsoever.
And then again, even aside from being a Canadian,
If we asked someone that lived in more like L.A., I wonder what they would say.
well,
Here's the thing though, they wouldn't like the heat either. I don't know.
I don't know. Would they want to be too? They want to say like, I'd rather be too cold. Like that's kind of
Everyone's different.
Weird for
like,
them.
I think where you grew up definitely has an impact.
Yeah, for sure.
Like for me, it makes no difference because I just have ice in my veins, so
Yeah.
I prefer.
But what's
Stone cold
what's
killer.
too cold?
Stone cold.
When you're waking up, it's minus 50. Well, isn't that too cold? Like,
Yeah,
I
that's-
hate
minus,
that.
minus 50?
That's too cold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
In my bed?
In
That's
Edmonton
like
was
your
minus
face
50.
will hurt kind
Yeah,
of cold.
that's
Yeah,
Edmonton,
literally,
they have
that
it
was
2
a
weeks like
couple
that.
months
Okay,
ago.
no, that's
no.
that's
That's
I'd rather
actually
be
like
hot. I'd rather
too
be
cold.
That's like Antarctica.
I would still live in minus 50 over plus 50.
Oh yeah,
I
me
don't
too,
want to walk
100%.
outside. My face hurt.
Yeah, I don't want to walk outside.
When
and
it was
melt.
like that winter vortex in whatever month it was,
Yeah,
it was
I'm telling
so
you, we had-
cold.
January, it was
Like
no.
I was
Minus
walking outside
50.
in like pain.
Yeah.
No.
I actually paid for underground parking $20 a day for a week
Yeah,
because I wasn't gonna walk outside. I'm like, I'm not doing this.
and then your car got towed.
Yeah. But that's a story for another day. You know what's stupid about that? Actually, I'm not gonna go on it. I'm not gonna rant.
Go.
This is my this is my first
Say it.
podcast.
You have time.
No, we need
Okay.
we need to know who you are.
Yeah, this is who I am. So I
Sami Hamdan, I hope you listen.
I can't wait till the
So
next.
I don't
make
name
the
drop my dad.
podcast better
So-
and drop Jay, please. Yeah, we'll do.
so I pay for parking, right?
Sure, you do.
It's me and my friend. We share the parking pass. But here's the thing: we park both cars. Whatever, you know. It's kind of like technical terms. But I pay for parking with a company, right? And there's 2 parking lots. There's one that's like a heated, like actual parking
I
lot
know where
stop.
this is going. Yeah.
And then there's one that's like not heated and it's just in the middle of nowhere. Okay. But that one's closer to my classes. So when I'm late, I park in the one closer to my school. You know what I mean? So they would give me tickets to that one, but I'm like, I pay for parking. What they're going to tell me? And then they told me.
They did just that.
Literally, I was staying at school till like 10 o'clock. I had to meet him the next day. And I'm walking outside and I look, my buddy's with me and he's like, hey, where's your car? And I was like, haha. He goes, no, seriously, where's your car? So we look in the parking lot, it's gone. And then I call the towing company the next day, or they're like, yeah, it's at our lot. You have to come back tomorrow morning, whatever.
How could they?
And then they just towed it.
That is so rude.
So I called.
Wow.
So I call like the people I park with, like the company, and I'm like, hey, like I paid for parking with you guys, and you guys told me. He's like, yeah, well, you guys you have $700 worth of tickets on your thing. So I'm like, okay, well, I pay for parking though a month. You know, it's like $150 a month. And he's like, doesn't matter, you parked in the wrong parking lot. So then I started fighting with him on the phone, right? And then my thinking is that I had to pay off my tickets to release my car. No, that's not how it is. You just pay the towing company like $200 or
You have
whatever.
to pay the towing.
Yeah, but you don't have to pay off the tickets.
No.
So I'm on the phone with him fighting about the tickets.
Because
and
it's not
I'm
City
like,
of Edmonton, right?
yeah, so I was like,
You're gonna get a letter in the mail, by the way.
I don't care. So I was like,
I got it. I don't.
Wait,
So I
wait,
was-
wait. Sorry to interrupt you. Is this the McEwen or U of A owned parking lots?
this
Or
is
it
a private company, third party company.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that I have to pay them the $700 now to get my car out of the parking lot.
Is it still there?
No, I
Oh,
got
okay.
it. Yeah, I got it. Out. So, but what happened was though, I'm on the phone with the guy yelling at the guy, and I'm like, "Hey, well, release my car," and he goes, "Go get it," and I'm like, "Well, I'm not paying you $700." He goes, "You have to pay me. You can go get your car."
Yeah.
And I
it's
was like,
different.
"Oh," and he's like, "Yeah, but you're still paying the $700." And I was like, I figured out that they don't go to collections, so I was like, "Yeah, sure." So
Yeah.
just drove down to the parking, like the trailer or whatever you call it, towing place, and got my car back.
You are an amazing.
I
human
have a
being,
similar
John.
story.
Yeah,
When
I know it's
I
a-
was with Ali one time at McEwen studying, and remember
Studying?
yeah,
I
we were
know
watching hockey.
studying.
Honestly, we were watching hockey.
Yeah, sure.
And we were driving back,
playing Minecraft.
and Adi was driving me to the other because my car was parked in the McEwen parking lot, and I
Yeah.
wasn't supposed to park there. I didn't pay for parking or anything. And we were driving back, and then I tried starting my car, and it wouldn't start. And I just looked at Adi, and it's just like, yeah,
It's gone.
it's for sure God.
Then this guy takes me
And
with
then
him.
Bijal went the next day. Right, we picked it up.
Yeah, but you didn't take me to. For some reason, he went to the police parking lot. The police, like, where the police sees your vehicles.
Oh, yeah.
So we sat
don't
there for an
know why.
hour waiting for them because they were on lunch. So we sat there in my car waiting for an hour.
I just assumed, right? That
Yeah,
it
you
was
just
there.
assumed it.
because
Oh,
that's
it
where
must
my
be the
car
pizza.
got. That's where my car got towed last time.
But why? Oh, because we're sitting in Edmonton though.
That was City of Edmonton. I guess
Yeah.
that was by the police.
Yes.
Ahmed's gotten his car towed
That's
more than once.
that's another story.
Yeah. The moral of the story is pay for parking.
Yeah, just
And don't be stupid.
Yeah. Unless you have like a good hack where you won't get caught,
I have
then
a
yeah,
good
go
hack,
ahead,
yeah.
go for it.
Okay, let's get another one.
So
That went really well off top. What was the question?
This is me. What?
that we were
was the
just talking about
question?
Jalal.
Pizza.
If you're too hot or too cold.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So on the topic of school, what do you guys think? Students are taught to pass exams, or are they taught to learn things?
Oh god, here's another rant.
Oh God, I already know Jalal has a.
Okay.
I have a whole thing about this.
Wait, do you want to start or shall
No,
I
you go
start?
ahead. You
I think we should end off with
Oh
Jalal.
my god. Okay. Schools literally are so flawed in so many ways. So the issue is they put so much pressure on these people, on these students who are working so hard to build a future for themselves. They make education really expensive, especially if you go abroad. And then on top of that, they'll test the smallest of details that no one ever cares about. Ask any professional in their field, how much of your schooling do you use in your everyday work field? They'll say maybe 20 to 30%, and 30 is like the most, depending on what field you went to. But most fields is even less. Right? So it's all like you're just going through years of suffering just to get this piece of paper on the wall to allow you to do certain things, which I think is ridiculous. On top of that, just the way they test is just so dumb. It's like honestly so useless, and it doesn't make us better students. I honestly think it's trained us to like just learn how the professor tests and study just specifically that style of material. So I reached the point where literally if I had, let's say 100 slides in my PowerPoint, I would study maybe like 30 to 40 slides because I knew those were the 30 to 40 that the professor wanted to test. Everything else was useless to me. So I would study specifically for the test and not really care about anything else because that's the pressure that school puts on us these days.
Well, you guys want to go first?
No.
I disagree with you.
Okay. Well, you went to like a career college, though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
So like you actually learned stuff that's applicable to your job.
Yeah. So like I would say out of NAIT, I did electrical engineering technologist. I think I did. I would say 60 to 70% of the stuff I learned in NAIT I use every day.
Okay, well that's because probably the education you got was properly tailored to what you're gonna do for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Now, okay, let me tell you guys something about med school. Med school is awesome, right? Well, not really, but like it's hard. You learn a lot, right? But then you learn so many details you'll never need to know ever. Like learning things about genome sequencing and like random DNA stuff that honestly, unless you're gonna go into research, is not useful. On my last exam on the island, I got 4 questions on blast injuries, like bomb injuries. When will I ever have to deal with a bomb injury? Ever.
Knock on wood.
Like, seriously, like, it's just like, that's a waste of 4 questions. You want to ask 1 question, sure, but that's a waste of 4 questions. Ask me about how to deal with heart attacks. Ask me about how to deal with, like, diabetes or something, but don't ask me about bombs.
How many explosions happen
Should ask
in the oil
Yunus
fields?
last.
I'm serious. Like, it doesn't have to be a bomb. It could be an explosion. It could be anything.
That's true.
Okay, that's fair, but again, I still think 4 questions on an exam of 60 questions is excessive.
I think
questions wrong. Is that why you're so?
Is
I
that, did you
get
fail
some of
that
them
exam?
wrong. I'm pretty bitter about that. To be honest.
Just say it is.
I'm pretty bitter about that. Yeah.
Okay, we'll leave Jalad to last.
Are you guys still talking about this?
I honestly I forgot the question. What did the question say?
Would you rather do you learn stuff in school just to pass, or do you learn?
No, like I don't learn anything.
I don't learn
like,
anything
I think personally that it depends on the degree in the field that you're going
That's
into.
true.
I think a lot of people in business can vouch for me saying that like you don't really learn, like you learn stuff that have nothing to do with your degree. Like even just getting a degree at McEwen, you have to take like so many elective courses, open elective, business electives. It's like you're taking a lot of stuff for, like Yunus said, a piece of paper. But I personally think that schools teach you how to pass tests rather than actually learning.
I think it goes down to what school you go to.
Yeah, and what school and what field.
I think it has a lot to do with
Ali. What's up, Nate? Nate Ux.
And Mohammed too, I guess. But
and Mohammed.
never mind.
Never mind.
He's in
Your standards dropped.
But my thing is that so it has a lot to do with what school you go to and also what you're taking. But okay, if you look at it, so many people, like when you take a course in university, you look at, rate my prof, for example, or you ask around, how's this prof, right? I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, people aren't looking for, oh, I heard he's really good, he's really knowledgeable, he teaches a lot. No. They're looking for one thing and one thing only. Is he easy? How easy is the class? How many assignments are there? People don't, unless it's like a course where you're graduating with that course and like GPA is not exactly like needed. People don't really care about what they're learning. There are some people that do. Like once you get into your field, for example, like me, biology courses, I'll pay attention to what's being taught. I'll pay attention to the content, and I care about who's teaching the class. Not because of GPA, more because of I actually care about the content. But like so many courses in university where like I took an econ class this semester, and my professor literally said, he goes, I know you guys take me for a GPA boost, but maybe I could teach you guys something along the way. And I actually learned from him because he made the class like stupidly easy, and I actually learned economics topics from this guy, even though I'm a biology major. So I think it has a lot to do with the system in general, right? It doesn't make a lot of, I don't know, to like me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm sure for some people they have their own pieces, but that's kind of my rant for it.
But then in general, do you think that we learn just to pass the exams, or do we learn to actually learn the material?
I think it depends who you are and what you're doing. Because if you're interested in a field, you know what I mean, then you'll learn to add to your own knowledge, right? But I've taken so many classes as GPA boosters where maybe I should have looked at them like, oh, this is an opportunity to learn something, but they're not taught necessarily that way until you get into like the higher level classes.
Yeah, no,
right?
that's fair. That's
100
fair.
level classes, 200 level classes, they kind of just say, oh, this is like, an introduction to this topic, and if you want to get further, then we give you like the real meat and potatoes. Like my classes, sorry to get you there, Ali, but like for biology and university at least, like I'm into like the anatomy kind of stuff, right? I only got that in my third and fourth year classes, whereas the first and second year classes, you have to take 6 of them, right? And I never got any of that kind of stuff. It was all kind of just introduction to like evolution and environmental ecology, that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a cash grab for people, and also too, it kind of teaches kids to, hey, what you're learning, it is important, but GPA is king, right? And I think that goes to show with all the programs too. Like you can't get in anywhere without GPA.
I'll agree with you on that. Like I took first year engineering at the U of A.
Yeah.
And like I learned nothing that I wanted to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I transferred to NAIT, I learned everything that I wanted to learn in like the first week.
Yeah.
And that's why I agree. Ali, you had something to say?
No, I was gonna say, like, I think it's a popular thing now that people just look for GPA boosters. Like you'll ask your friends, you'll ask people like, hey, what's a GPA booster? What's something that I know I can just take and not have to worry about? Like something that I know the prof is an easy mark or stuff like that.
But why is that?
Because I think people are like, nowadays people have become so frustrated with everything that they've been thrown at them at school, and I think that obviously you need to take the necessary class that you have to take, but like schools force so much stuff, like so much unnecessary courses and stuff that you need to take. So I think people look for the easy classes that to just not have to worry about them, just to get the credits and get the good marks, and then they could focus more on the classes that they actually need.
No, that's fair. Like my thing is, I think there's a bigger problem here in the picture, and that is that the system really is flawed. We have some amazing students who work so hard, they're volunteering regularly. Like I know one person, obviously I'm not going to mention names, but like this person traveled to Africa to do volunteer work there with like orphanages and all that kind of stuff. They had like, he showed me his transcript and stuff. He had like an over a 3.8 GPA. I think it was like a 3.83 or 3.89, which is like really, really good. You know, like he was working hard on his MCAT, all that kind of stuff, and he still couldn't get into medicine in Canada, which I think is ridiculous. Like when you're letting go people like that, I think the system is flawed. And then people start focusing so much on this number, on this GPA. They want to get that 4.0 at all costs. Like I took a class called folklore where I was learning like the most random things. I didn't care about the class, but I took it because it was a GPA booster, you know, and I don't think that's right. Like I think if a student is going to register for a class, they should register for something that's going to be beneficial to them, something they like to do. And I just think this whole GPA system has to be redone. You know, they got to think of a different way to get people into like higher level programs.
Well, here's another thing you can add to this too. Like, it's a cultural thing, because if you look at university, like why it's called university is because when they made it back in the day, I think it was like 1500s, 1600s when they had the first concept of university.
Can I interrupt you here quickly?
Yeah, sure.
Really cool fun fact. The first ever university was actually established by a Muslim woman. Her name was Fatima Al-Fihri. I don't remember the year, but I think it was in the 1500s.
Yeah.
For some reason, the year 1583 pops to mind, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
I know it was like 1500s, 1600s. The whole reason was why they call it university is because it's universal. They want people to become at least semi-proficient in a bunch of areas, right? And I get that, but when you're making programs that are like ultra stupidly competitive, like, you know, med for me and you, it's like, why would anyone be incentivized to, hey, take this hard class?
Yeah.
You're interested in it, take a hard class. You know, you're trying to get to med school, but take this really hard class, but it's very interesting. You'll like what's going on in it, but you'll take a GPA hit.
Yeah.
No one's going to take that class.
Exactly.
Unless someone is just generally interested in learning and they don't have plans to move on to something else.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's a cultural thing, but honestly, I don't see it changing for a long time, because it's kind of ingrained in who we are, and you're taught at young age, grade 6, grade 7, hey, you know, if you don't, you know, once you get to university, you're on your own, right? And it's a cultural thing. But
cool insights.
Bilal was not impressed. That whole
I honestly agree. Do we have time to do one more topic? What do you guys want?
I think let's do one more.
Let's do one more. Yeah.
Well, on the topic of degrees, we get degrees to get jobs, and jobs get us money. So, do you guys think money can buy you happiness?
I also want to go back to this one and say there's only one right answer. And the right
if it's not your answer, it's wrong, eh?
And if it's not, then you gotta fight Bilal Abdu, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think the right answer is a lot of people say that like some of the most successful and rich people like have a lot of like mental health disorders and like they're not that happy with their life.
I told you that earlier.
Yeah, whatever. But I personally think if I was sitting here right now with $5 million in my pocket, I'd be a lot happier than I am with nothing.
Oh, yeah.
So I think yes.
So you have nothing.
I think I have nothing.
Wow, broke.
I'm broke.
BA.
So I think
BABs.
I think a lot of I think money does provide happiness, but to an extent.
Honestly, I think it has nothing to do with money. Rather, it's how your life is around money.
Yeah.
You could be
how you value it.
Yeah, you could be rich and be miserable. You could be poor and you could be miserable.
It's true.
So I think honestly it comes down into like, you know, your deed and you're like how you live your life and how like grateful you are and how much connections you have with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that one makes you happy. Like you could, you know, a lot of rich people, yeah, they have a lot of, you know, mental problems and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's because of their personal lives. But if you ask me, I'd rather be rich and happy than poor.
Yeah, but everybody would rather be rich and miserable.
Yeah.
But like money buying you happiness, I think it's kind of like a double-edged sword. You know what I mean? Where it's everybody wants to be rich. Like everybody wants to be rich. There's no doubt in my mind that, you know, if you go to someone and say, "Hey, here's $5 million," no, that's not me. It doesn't vibe with me. You know what I mean? But like you said, like Bilal just said, like I think it's living within your means, right? If someone wants to live a rich lifestyle, like does that really make them happy?
I think it's like it comes down to how you value your money.
Yeah,
that's how I think I look at it. But I mean, if I had $10 million in my bank account,
like no one's complaining.
I'd be so happy.
Yeah, no one's complaining.
I'd be the happiest man on earth. So
here's my question. So Ali Farhat mentioned how he'd be very happy if he had $5 million in his pocket right now. So you get your $5 million, right? And you buy a bunch of stuff.
Yep.
Let's say, I don't know, whatever. You buy a big $2 million house, you have a nice Ferrari outside, whatever car you want to get, whatever. And now you're out of money, but you have all this really cool stuff. Then what?
No,
I think the question is if you were like well off.
Like
you
like
have a lot of money.
You're rich for the rest of your life.
No, but the thing is like it also depends how you use your money, like what they were saying, right? Like I'm not gonna get $5 million and go buy a house, like a whatever mansion, right? Like I would make it. I'd use the money like suitable to my lifestyle, and I would make sure that like it brings me happiness.
See, I
buy like a newer Ford Fusion.
I appreciate you guys saying that, but honestly, and I'm saying this to myself first and foremost, like it's easier said than done, man.
Oh, 100%.
Once you have the money and like you just see a nice car, you see a nice house, like I have the money, I can afford it, why not, right? And then you start building and building and building.
Sure, yeah.
It becomes a rat race, right? And you're just trying to race to the top. And then
I'm like that, and I work part-time at Kudos.
No, I think that goes back to your person, like how you live.
It does, yeah.
Like, you have to be able to control yourself. Not everything you see you buy, right?
Yeah,
like,
I still feel like that whole not everything you see you buy mentality comes because all of us just without any fault of our own, we just have to be responsible with our money. It's just the reality of life.
Yeah.
Right. But I feel like if we were ever put in a position where we didn't have to be responsible with our money and we had full freedom to do whatever we wanted to do, like we would just never stop with what we wanted. Like,
I agree.
Our
it's
wants would be like a never-ending list.
Yeah.
I think it all goes back. I kind of like what Bilal was saying earlier about like how you surround yourself and your life surroundings and stuff. I think a lot of it goes back to mindset. I think mindset is what determines whether or not you're going to be happy or not.
Yeah,
not
I
money.
agree. No,
I think the only thing that money could give me that I really want to do is this traveling. I think that's like my number one thing. It wouldn't be cars. It wouldn't be like houses.
I think traveling is overrated, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, because
I think you're overrated.
you're
overrated. I agree.
Because you live on a beach right now.
I
That's why.
approve this message.
You heard it here first.
I like traveling.
No, traveling.
I would like to travel.
That's the only thing. Like I see money, and I kind of like say to myself, okay, I wish I had money to do like go to like Monaco, these crazy places, right? For me, it's not so much about the cars or
Out of all the places you go to Monaco,
what's that place called in
Madagascar?
Yeah, let's see if King Julian's there.
Are you just gonna stay in Edmonton your whole life?
No, like I don't mind going out for vacations every once in a while, but like honestly, there's so many things I would rather do first. Like I just feel like everyone talks about traveling and how they want to travel the world and all this kind of stuff, and I'm thinking like, dude, you're not living a fairy tale. It's not that.
Yo, it
glamorous.
depends where I'm going. I want to go
Are
to
you guys
somewhere
talking
where
about,
I
like-
have to sleep in huts and stuff. Like, yeah.
Monte Carlo?
What's
Monte
Monte
Carlo,
Carlo?
Monte
Yeah.
Carlo.
What the hell's
Monte
Monaco? Is that a store?
Why would you want to go to Monte Carlo? Actually, Monte Carlo's actually really
Monte
nice.
Carlo's actually beautiful.
Yeah. You went there, right?
Yeah, it's honestly
see,
it's
like,
beautiful.
I wanna go there and just chill in-
It is so nice.
Chill on the yacht. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm saying this because every traveling experience I've had has not been the best experience.
Well, yeah, considering that you almost died on a 2-man plane.
6-man plane.
6-man plane. Hey, don't get it wrong.
Absolute
Don't get it wrong.
Boys, do you have something to add?
No, I'm happy to be here. This is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, first podcast, last one too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this is nice. That's when it lasted. I hope you guys' replacement's better than me.
As I wanted to sign off, I just wanted to remind all our followers and listeners we're on some platforms here. We're on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, like, follow, and give us a 5-star review. Even if you don't like it, give us a 5-star review. Email us what you want to say, but just give us a 5-star review. And then I also want to say that all our names on the Instagram, Twitter, Facebook is at DLPcast. Again, DLPcast. And we spell our name Deenless, Deen, 2 E's, Deenless, as in the Deen. Also, okay, hold on, I'll write it up. And then, yeah, so we drop it every Monday. And yeah, catch us, follow us, spread it to your friends and family. You know, as I said before, did I ever say this? That we're trying to, you know, make it as big as possible. You know, something from Edmonton, you know, taking it worldwide. Do you want to drop that news? No? All right. Well, we'll probably save it to the next podcast. That's a cliffhanger for you guys. You guys get really disappointed.
Very disappointing news.
Brothers, I all love you for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. Look forward to when we can meet up again and do things. And yeah, anything you want to add? No?
That's cool.
Let's catch up next week, guys. Thank you to our listeners, and we'll talk to you guys next week.